Having me today, Amy. I'm looking forward to talking a little bit about Encircle, some of the new exciting stuff that we're putting out, as well as our integration with proven jobs. We did a review last week to look at some of our customers that are currently using the proven jobs integration, and it's great to see that we are seeing quite a bit of usage from our customers. And I want to give a big thanks to Can-Am Systems, who is continuing to work on improving that integration. So we are going to get more into it at the end when Christy shares her screen, but we are really looking forward to talking about how the two systems can be leveraged together. And hopefully it's something that'll work for you guys as well. So really my plan today here, I'm going to share my screen, is give you a quick walkthrough of the Encircle system, how it functions. And then, like I said, Christy will be talking a little bit about how the integration can be set up and how it can be leveraged. I'll try and speak to the integration and some of the integration points throughout the presentation, but please, if you do have any questions, throw them in the chat. They might be better answered by Christy, but we really appreciate the engagement. So I'm going to share my screen here, and what everyone should be looking at now is the Encircle web application. So essentially, Encircle is built with both a web and a mobile interface. The two systems are linked together. But generally claims will come in from proven jobs into the Encircle web application, where teams will then begin working on them from the Encircle side. So the first integration point, which I can speak to, and we'll be talking about this a little bit more later, is the ability to create jobs in proven jobs, which is generally where they're going to start, and then sync them over to Encircle, which will automatically create what's called an Encircle claim, but it's essentially just a job, a file, whatever you want to call it. Now, you'll notice here I've got all the customer details filled out. Of course, those are pulled from the proven jobs detail. And the first thing that I want to show you here today is our tool called Link. The idea behind the link is I have a way to communicate with the customer before I go out to the job site. So we see quite a few, when we talk to our contractors, a lot of them have pointed out that most homeowners over-exaggerate the extent of the loss, right? They generally think it's the end of the world. They'll tell you there's 3 feet of water, but that doesn't do you much good, especially if you have an hour of drive time to get out there. Is it 3 feet? Is it a puddle, right? We need to understand that. So basically the tool Link, I have the ability to send them out an email or a text message, so whichever one the homeowner prefers. They can take photos and videos of the damage, so they can show me in real time what's going on. And then I can also get all of my paperwork signed before I go out there. So I'm just going to send this to myself just as kind of a dummy example, and we've got a mock form, but this would be your actual paperwork, and of course this would go directly to your customers from you. So if I had an emergency loss, I would generally say to the homeowner, hey, I'm going to send you out a text message, and you're going to have a link. So this is what the text message would come through. You're going to have a link to click on here. It would be your company logo up at the top. And then if I click here on the camera icon, it'll just pull right open their phone camera. They could also take a video if they want to, and start to show you guys a little bit of the extent of the loss. Now, all those images that we capture via Link are going to come back to the office right away. They're also going to create a folder called policyholder photos and videos, and this would be an integration point, right? Creating this room or this folder would also create one in proven jobs. So you'll see here that we have the photos come back in real time. And then if we assess the loss, we play their photos, or we look at their photos or play their videos, we would then have the ability to go to their document section here, and they can pull open your paperwork. And you'll notice the way we build forms, they fit the phone screen really nicely. So it's easy for the customer to scroll up and down. They can view it, and then they can just tap to sign right there on their device. Of course, I think the obvious question coming up here is, do documents sync to proven jobs? The answer is yes. A completed PDF is an integration point. So then you'll be notified here in Encircle. It would also end up in your proven jobs files. If you want to manage the paperwork out of Encircle, that is an option to still have it synced to your job management system. All the PDFs are completed. They're date and time stamped. And of course, I always show this from first notice of loss, but you can use this as many times as you want throughout the course of a claim. The other option that a lot of our PSA customers are leveraging is our link tool. We have multiple links that you can send out to subtrades. So if you just need a couple photos from a plumber, an electrician, whoever it might be, you can add those links as well. This does not just have to go to the homeowner. You can use it for as many external parties as you need. Sorry there, guys. I think we have a question in the chat box. If anyone, if Amy or Christy wants to read it out, feel free. I just can't view it right now, but feel free to, if there are any questions, to hop right in.
Yep. Can customers interact with your Encircle documents? For example, check marks, radio buttons, comments, or can they sign initial only? Are there other functionalities inside those documents?
That's a good question. Right now, via link, it's for signatures, signatures and initials and whatnot. You can build radio buttons into the app. You know, check marks, yes, nos, that kind of thing. Right now, when sending out via link, the easiest way to do so would be for you to fill them out at the office to generate that, you know, maybe perhaps over the phone with them before you send it out. But we also have the option to get all these documents signed on site, which I will show you, and that is quite easy to interact with from a yes no drop down perspective as well. So right now, the best way to do it via link is for signatures, and you might need to kind of prepare the document a little more than I did before you send it out. Perfect. Thanks for the question, guys. With that, I'm going to scroll over to the mobile version of the application. Now, mobile version of the app, a couple things to point out. I always like to kind of point out why our customers like using the mobile app. One, extremely easy to use. We've got an intuitive layout that makes it easy for your field team to pick up the documentation that you need to get paid. Two, it works offline. So you do not need self-service to be doing all the stuff that I'm going to show you here, including getting your documents signed. If you're in and out of self-service all day, you don't have to do anything. And if you're going to be without self-service all day, we have a dedicated offline mode, which will help conserve battery life as well. So I'm going to scroll over here. I'm showing the mobile app right now on an iPhone. You can use Android, you can use tablets. It really doesn't matter, but our focus has always been on designing the Encircle mobile app to fit on the phone, because we don't want you to have to carry an additional piece of technology with you out on site that could get, you know, broken, or they're expensive and they need to be replaced. We want to be able to leverage the phone. And we have a really cool new exciting feature that I'm going to show you here that leverages the phone technology, the camera technology in a phone, to create a schematic floor plan. So with that, if I was one of your technicians, I would basically have all of my claims available here. You can do a mass search between all the company claims, or if I share the job with my technician, it would automatically show up in my view. Here, I've got the ability to share, so I can send that link out to the homeowner, right? I can get my documents signed. I can get those photos. So if you have someone is in the truck all day, they need to still get those documents signed. We have a way to do it remotely. I've got all my documents here where I can pull them open on site and get them signed. And this is a good opportunity too. If you need to make a lot of edits to a document, etc., you would have the ability to do so here. And this is also good if the homeowner is like 90 years old and does not want a text message. You have the ability to pull everything up on site and get it signed. And then here I've got my general notes tab, and general notes are pretty easy. Once again, it's an easy integration point. Arrived on site. Began my initial inspection with the homeowner. So everything in Encircle is voice to text enabled, and there's also going to be date and time stamps and tell you which technician did it. So this is kind of part of a theme within Encircle that everything we do will be date and time stamped, but it is nice as well in case you need to go back later in a file and prove that something happened at a certain time. We have the ability to surface that information in your reports. Cool. Now, the thing that everyone's going to want us to talk about here, and this has been the most requested feature over the past 12 months by a landslide, is our floor plan tool. But I'm going to get to that a little bit later. First, I want to talk just about the general claim documentation as well as using our Hydro tool. But we absolutely will be talking about this floor plan tool. I'm excited that our beta actually starts next week with some live customers in the field. So I do have the ability to now finally show it in a demo. Basically, the way that we format Encircle, I understand in Proven Jobs, you have folders. In Encircle, we have rooms. A room in Encircle creates a folder in Proven Jobs, so that way there's continuity between the two platforms. Basically, I've got this big add room button. I've got a master list here that I can pick from. And basically, as soon as I step foot in a room, I would add it into the system and then start with my general photo documentation. So I'm just going to take a couple photos here of my messy desk. We recently enabled the 0.5 lens. So you can take half as many photos now to document a room, assuming your phone does have a 0.5 lens. And as soon as I take those photos, as one of your technicians, they're going to come back to the office, date and time stamp. They'll tell you who took the photo, when they took it, what room they took it in, etc. So really, really easy for a technician to almost over document the loss, which is exactly what we want them to do. And they don't need to do anything for it to upload back to the office. Cool. Same thing I did with photos, I can do with videos. And I've actually got an example from a large PSA Encircle customer that I'll show you at the end. But they have found a ton of success in doing a scope video per loss. So where it's really easy to miss information with photos and with a 3D scan and with notes, it's very tough in a video where you can be speaking to what you see as you walk on site. I really recommend teams leverage the video functionality. They can be speaking to the extent of the loss, the scope of the loss, cause of loss. And in a world where adjusters are rarely stepping foot on site, we have the ability to let them play a 30-second to a minute-long video that provides a very detailed explanation of exactly what happened. So this really eliminates the interpretation aspect of a file. Same thing here that I did with photos and videos, I can do with notes. This is great if I want to document something very time sensitive. So one of the biggest examples that we actually heard this from a large customer in Texas, another PSA user, is the ability to document pre-existing damage. So his example was multiple times throughout the year, they go to put a dumpster down on a driveway. The homeowner would say they cracked their driveway. They were looking for a new driveway. We have the ability to just very quickly say pre-existing damage, large scratch on laptop. And then you can take as many photos as you need. And usually it's just like one or two, but we just want to show like the damage before we get out there, especially on those high ticket items, stuff like appliances or wood flooring or granite countertops. And if we do run into a situation where the homeowner wants to bring it up, I can pull a report, and I'll show you guys an example report, but we'll have a specific date and timestamp associated with it. That's very, very tough to argue with. So if I was to send a inspection report, just to jump ahead a little bit here on you guys, to the adjuster, this would be your logo up at the top. And the date and timestamp will be available on the photo, and then it can be pulled open as well. But that information will surface right there. So if we're looking at something like pre-existing damage, very, very tough to argue with. Perfect. And please keep the questions coming. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Now, just for the interest of time here, because we don't have too long, I won't go too far into it, but we do have a full contents platform built in. So if anyone has a contents division and they want to use a tool to document contents, quite easy to do so. It's basically photo description, Apple AirPods. And you can even put them in a box based on the room that you're in and track where that box has gone. So if anyone does want a full Encircle contents demo, by all means, feel free to reach out to us and we're happy to provide one. But essentially the benefits of Encircle is one, it's really easy to document on the content side. And two, you can actually have as many people in the file as you want at once. So we've heard from a lot of the contents software companies in the space that kind of one person at a time, it's a manual upload process. But as soon as I document that non-restorable or that item that we need to clean, it will immediately be available back at the office. Perfect. Now, I'm going to get into Hydro and then I'll finish with the floor plan just to keep everyone here because I'm sure most people are interested in the floor plan tool and the sketching tool. But I do want to quickly show you Hydro Just to give you an idea, we recently received approval from Contractor Connection to use hydro on water jobs. And we're really excited about the opportunity to partner with some of these carriers and TPAs in the US, just to give you guys a little bit more choice when it comes to your water mitigation software. I know up to this point, there's really been one company that's kind of dominated the space, but it's great to see that we're starting to see some more flexibility in the tools that you choose to use. So I'll give you a high level on how Hydro works and some of the updates that we're going to be showing you here. So basically, Hydro is our water mitigation tracking software, very similar to some of the NextGear products that you might be familiar with. If I click in the top right-hand corner, I'll have a Hydro button, and essentially I have a task list. So you can set up and customize this task list for your team. We've essentially given the S500 standard in a task list. It was quite extensive. It's 16 tasks. And now we've given you the ability to remove any tasks that you do not find relevant. So a lot of our teams want the ability to remove HVAC readings. Perhaps you're not going to take HVAC readings. You can cut that out for your team, so your field team only has to document exactly what you want them to do. So I'm just going to go through a few of these. I've already started filling it out. But just to give you an idea here, I filled out an affected area reading, and we were well above the chamber tolerance. So I actually received this pop-up right in front of me telling me that we have a humidity range. I'm above this, so I'm going to need to add a DHU. I might need to heat up the environment, etc. But we're just very fortunate here at Encircle to have a CR WLS on staff who has essentially helped us design these alerts. And these are things that you're going to continue to see in your Encircle app that will alert technician when things are going wrong on the job. So I'll keep moving through the checklist here just to give you an idea of some of these things. Room dimensions, you'll be able to put the room dimensions here into the app, and it will spit out the equipment recommendations. It will also alert them if they do not put enough equipment on site. Take all your moisture point readings with or without a moisture map. And when we get into the floor plan tool, you'll actually have the ability to plot your moisture points on that floor plan when it comes back. So that's going to be kind of our stage 2 of floor plan, which is kind of exciting. Take all your readings in the app. Another example here, if we're nearing dew point, I'm really just trying to put in some faulty numbers here just to make sure that the alerts pop up here for you. But if we're nearing dew point, it'll give recommendations on how to fix this, but it will alert technicians. They can either dismiss it and deal with it later, where the alert will still stay there for them, or they can try and take action right away, depending on what they prefer. So totally up to you guys. The alerts that will pop up are dependent on which tasks you make mandatory, but it will calculate the amount of equipment that you should put on site. It will tell the technicians if they've perhaps deviated from the guidelines. And really our goal with building this checklist the way we have and then helping your teams customize it is making everyone on your team an expert in structural drying. I think the biggest issue in the industry when we talk to our customers all around the world is hiring good technicians right now. And this is kind of a way to up-level the staff that you currently have and put a water damage expert in their pocket on their phones. So we have a lot of these alerts already in place. A lot more are coming, but by all means, Hydro is almost a standalone product. There's quite a bit to it. If anyone does want a demo of Hydro, you're welcome to reach out to us directly. By all means, if there's any questions on the Hydro tool, feel free to throw them in the chat. But task list format, and then it will also create a shortened task list for day 2, day 3, etc. But just make it really, really easy for your technicians to follow along while they're on the job site. Perfect. Now, I want to get into the exciting part, which is our floor plan tool. I know this has been the #1 thing that people have been requesting. Essentially, what we've done is build a full schematic floor plan tool into our app that will give you the same accuracy as DocuSketch or Matterport, dedicated $1,000+ camera systems using the smartphone that you have to carry with you anyway. You do not need LiDAR to use this. The accuracy increases with LiDAR, but you do not need LiDAR in order to use this. and anyone on your team can create a floor plan. The test that we've done an 1,800 square foot, 3-story townhouse in just over 3 minutes of scanning. So we've had several teams switch from a dedicated scanning software as part of our beta. Generally, the scanning time has gone down about a tenth of what they were previously doing. We even had a large PSA user, interestingly enough, that did an 8,000 square foot commercial loss. Very, very complex. It was a hospital, very odd shaped walls, odd shapes, etc. Accuracy was bang on, and they did the entire scanning in under 40 minutes. So very impressive. Basically, I have this add floor plan button. I'll click on add floor plan. And I'm sorry here, guys, I'm not going to be able to show you too much just because I am kind of tied to my cord right now. But essentially, your screen will flip sideways. You'll click on this start scanning. And you can move as quickly as you want. And I just pointed at the floor, and then I'll say the room name. Office. So it's one continuous scan. Not a great example because I just ran out of places that I could turn my chair to and I ran out of cord, but it can literally scan as fast as you're able to walk. And then I'll get an immediate review screen, which is awesome, which will tell us if you see any red in the timeline, or if you see a lot of red in the timeline, we would recommend rescanning, but it'll actually give you real-time alerts. You'll notice that I was moving quite quickly there, and I was getting no red, but I would be getting a real-time alert if perhaps I was too quick or too shaky or whatever, and give your technicians time or your project managers time to correct it in real time. And then you'll even get this review screen at the end. It shows if you've got a lot of red, you might want to do a quick rescan. Totally up to you. But you'll see here how quickly I moved. There was 0 rescan needed. And I can even go through and play the video. So it's going to go to kind of a low res video because it's doing some pretty intense processing in the background. But if I hit save, it's going to process this scan. I'm going to be sent an email when it is completed. At a max on a 10,000 square foot loss, we will guarantee that the detailed schematic floor plan is back to you within 6 hours. Most of our testing has had floor plans back right now, and these are on fairly small residential properties, has had them back in under an hour. So it was guaranteed. If it's more than 6 hours, it won't be charged for actually. But all of our testing so far, whether it's on commercial properties, extremely large residential, whatever it might be, are all done within 6 hours, okay? This is gonna be sent right back in your Encircle file. You're gonna be notified of it, and you can also do multiple scans per property. So if anyone is an Encircle user and you already know that you might be doing a commercial loss over 10,000 square feet, you could split it up by floor, by unit. You can do as many scans per claim as you need to. So that's pretty cool as well. And if there's any questions at all about the floor plan tool, by all means, I think I just saw one pop up. I just can't view it. But if anyone does have a question with the floor plan tool, by all means, feel free to let me know here, guys.
Hey, this is when adding general notes to the Encircle claim, does Encircle provide the ability to use a predefined template? For example, we require technicians to answer specific questions before leaving a job site, and a template helps them remember the specific information needed. In addition, could the note automatically email a specific email address when entered?
That's a great question. The answer to that is at the request of some large customers using the Proven Jobs integration and having their note template set up in Proven Jobs. We are currently working on that project. That will be released looking like the next 3 to 4 months. You will have note templates. We are looking at notifications for it. We're just going to have to be very careful in how we do that because we don't want to over notify anyone. But I'm not sure if you're currently an Encircle customer or not. The answer is, if not, come check it out and we can discuss the way it's going to work. We're currently in the design phase. If you are an Encircle customer, we would love to get your feedback and chat with the designer that is currently working on that, but no templates are absolutely something that will be released shortly. Perfect. Thanks for the question, guys. I appreciate it. Now, with that, I want to show an example of a final report, and then I would like to kick it over to Christy to discuss some of the integration points, and then also allow time for questions. I want to be cognizant of everyone's time. I know we got like 18 minutes remaining. I know Christy's got, maybe 10 minutes to share what she's looking to share, which is great. So I will show you this example of an Encircle PDF report, just to give everyone an idea kind of what you can expect of the system. Once again, this is the inspection report. So this is from an Encircle and Proven Jobs customer, but your logo will be up at the top. It'll all be interactive. All your log notes. And unfortunately, because I have my AirPods plugged in, you probably won't be able to hear this. But this is an example of a project manager. As soon as he sets foot on site, he starts walking through what happened. There was a refrigerator supply line leak. He's actually walking through now and pointing out that, hey, they have their meter on the wood setting. They show that it's fully saturated. And then later in the video here, he's going to walk to the basement and show that the water had come down through the drop ceiling. And that's why it had sat there for so long. The drop ceiling has a plastic covering on it. So that explains the extent of the damage. This team has found massive benefit in providing a scope video per job, at least one per job. And this is an example. The PDF report is an integration point between our two systems. This would automatically push into Proven Jobs. And this is a great document to put in XA. Just as an example, under the document section, anyone that receives this can interact with the document. So very, very helpful if we want to provide a ton of info all at once. And see if I have one more example here to show you. I think I do. And afterwards too, we can follow up if anyone is interested in seeing our floor plan tool live. Like I said, our beta testing with a very, very small group of customers is starting next week, starting I think Thursday of next week. But just to give everyone else an idea, here's some other examples of reports that you can generate from Encircle. So if we're looking for a contents report, we could do a detailed spreadsheet. We could do a much larger final report, which would include all your moisture reporting. And I just attach this after the fact, so it looks a little bit odd. But any documents that you need to include, you would have the ability, sorry, I just want to find the right one. Here we go. You would be able to include all in one. So this was an example from one of our customers of a fairly large residential loss. And you'll see here it came out to 177 pages. All the date and timestamps are on there. We're almost overwhelming whoever's going to review this. If I just keep scrolling down here, here's an example of the moisture reporting. So you can make this moisture reporting look however you need. We have a few different reports depending on who you're working with. If someone needs a Mika report, we have one that would operate very similar to that. But all these images of your meter will be logged in, day over day drying, show the equipment calculations, and you will have the ability as well. Right now, this was just a little hand-drawn sketch, but you will have the ability to moisture map on top of your sketch once it's back as well. So if you want to do that, have a nice professional looking floor plan and have it sketched, that will be an option as well coming in the new year. Perfect. So hopefully that was a high level overview for everyone of kind of what Encircle is and how it operates. And hopefully you see where it might partner well with Proven Jobs as a field documentation partner. But by all means, feel free to keep throwing chats here in the question. And with that, I'm going to kick it over to Christy to discuss the integration points, how you can set it up in a little bit more detail.
Thanks, Chris. I'm going to just drop your share. Thank you. And start mine. Give me 1 minute. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so basically before you guys start your integration with Encircle, our integration is fairly simplistic. You need to tell the system what jobs you want to send over to Encircle. Now, within your job type setup within company settings, you define which job types sync with Encircle. Now, this necessarily doesn't send them all over to Encircle. It's just telling the system which jobs can go to Encircle. Once the job is created on our side, you then select a checkbox. We had clients that wanted maybe all their mitigation jobs to sync to Encircle, but not necessarily every single solitary jobs. So you do need to go into your job type setups and select sync with Encircle within that job type. And then you're going to create that job in proven jobs. And so this is, I just had to do a couple of screenshots in PowerPoint, but in essence, I've created my job within proven jobs. And then I have this selection box that I can sync with Encircle. Now you can go ahead and create that job file, and I can create that job based on an emergency order that I've already told it on my job type setup that I want to sync with Encircle, but I necessarily haven't synced it yet. Technically haven't selected that checkbox to send it over to Encircle. So once I've selected that checkbox to send over to Encircle, it will create that job in Encircle, creating that link. So once that link is created, any note, photo, or document will do a one-way sync from Encircle down to proven jobs. So it's pretty simplistic. It creates the job in proven jobs and then sends it over to Encircle, and then anything that's put into the job file in Encircle will send that data back over to the proven job side. Nothing put into proven job side in the notes, photos, or document section will send up to Encircle. It's from Encircle down. Now, in our manual that we sent out to clients, we do have a matrix to let you know what specific items sync over to Encircle and what they are called in the Encircle side. So here we just, the adjuster goes over to the adjuster claim, over to date claim created, etc. So I do have that document if anybody wants that to have on file, if you don't already have it. Summer's pretty good about sending that out to you though. Once your job is created, it does create a tab. Now, this was a new integration feature that we enabled last year. You do have a quick access link. When you select it, it will automatically open that linked job file in Encircle, allowing you to kind of navigate inside of it. And then, of course, this is my linked job file. I can kind of go in quickly into that job in Encircle and navigate around if needed. Now, integration options or settings in proven jobs, once that integration is set up, it's automatically going to enable this sync media now. This enables your photos and documents, et cetera, to come down to proven jobs. You do have another selection box here to remove items deleted in Encircle. So basically, in essence, if that is selected, if you guys delete a photo, document, et cetera, in Encircle, it in turn will also delete that associated file within proven jobs. Then, of course, we have this import photos and documents. You do want to have those selected. And we have an additional option over here for a photo path where you can define an associated photo path. So in this example, we define Encircle photos and Encircle documents. And what we have done is I have created an associated photo path for Encircle photos, and I have the associated file of Ray Stark, and I've created those rooms in Encircle. So what happens is when that syncs down to the associated job file, it creates that folder has already been created on my job file, and it syncs it back to the associated job file in this Encircle photos folder. Now we also have another option called create folders from photo labels. So if I select that option, the rooms that are created within Encircle, bedroom, bathroom, closet, for example, if I select that option, it will create those options in my job file. It'll create that folder from those rooms created. So if I created closet or master bedroom, etc., in Encircle, it'll create that folder based on that room name. Now, in addition, we also have another option within those job type settings or job type setup that you can define a room template. So if I want to predetermine those room names, so if I want to make sure every job created, my cleaning job or my mitigation job, I want to predefine the room templates to already create those. When the job is created, it'll send that over to Encircle and it'll already predefine those room names. I can also in turn turn on those create folders from rooms. It'll in turn create those folders into the job within Proven Jobs as well. Now, the last option we have in our integration settings is if you utilize different contact types in your system, other than the ones listed below. So if you use something besides adjuster type, you can define those and link them to the associated ones within company settings. Otherwise, it will utilize the ones outlined in our matrix in the manual. Okay, it looks like Southeast sent in a question for job type setup Encircle room template. Could you possibly add a development request to allow the ability for Encircle room template subfolders? The room template is awesome, but sometimes an additional folder within that room might be necessarily similar to how Proven Jobs subfolders already works now. So you're wanting like maybe like a pre-inspection and then a subfolder after that. Okay. I'll talk to Dimitri.
Thanks, Christine. Just loop me in there as well. It might be partly a request on our side as well. So thanks for the question, Southeast, and we might reach out with further questions on that, but that might also be an ask for us.
Well, because your room templates are 1-to-1 ratio. You only have a singular room, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we're looking at subfolders within rooms. So it sounds like it might be development work on our end that we need to let you guys know to support. But I'll connect with you, Christian. We can also reach out to Southeast directly for some of that product feedback, but that sounds good to me.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just a quick plug, guys, because I did notice some Encircle customers on the line here. If you are an Encircle customer, you are going to get 10 free floor plans to test. We're hoping testing starts or early access starts mid-January. So if anyone is a Encircle customer, please feel free to reach out to your success manager, and we'll make sure we get you your 10 free floor plans to start testing as soon as possible.
Okay, do we have any more questions?
Okay, if not, we're going to go ahead and close this lunch and learn. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.